My name is Margaret, and I never thought I'd end up here, sitting in this small nursing home, staring at the same white walls every day, waiting for a face that never comes. I never thought my own daughter, the very girl I gave my life to, would leave me like this. You know, when she was born, I held her tiny fingers and I swore to God that I'd give her everything. And I did. I worked double shifts so she could have new shoes when mine had holes in them. I skipped meals so she'd never go hungry. I stayed up through nights of fevers rocking her, whispering prayers when the doctors said nothing more could be done. And when she got older, I cheered at every school play, I cried at her graduation, and I held her veil on her wedding day. I was proud. Oh, I was so proud. But pride doesn't last forever, does it? Somewhere along the way she forgot. She got busy, she got tired, and maybe she got ashamed of me. She said I was too much work, that I was slowing her life down. And so, one cold morning she brought me here. She didn't even look me in the eye when she said it. "Mom, it's for the best. They'll take good care of you here." Then she kissed my cheek and walked out the door. And just like that, my whole world ended. The staff here, they're kind, they do their jobs. But they don't know me. They don't know how I once danced barefoot in the kitchen with my little girl in my arms. They don't know how my late husband used to sing carols by the fire, his voice deep and warm. They don't know that Christmas used to be my favorite time of year because it meant family, it meant love, it meant we were together. But now, Christmas is just another reminder that I'm alone. The halls here are decorated with paper snowflakes, fake wreaths, and blinking lights. The nurses wear red Santa hats and smile, but the smiles don't reach their eyes. They know most of us won't see our families. They know most of us are forgotten. I sit by the window every evening watching the cars pull up, praying maybe, just maybe, one of them is hers. That she'll walk in and say, "Mom, I made a mistake. Come home." But she never comes. And now, tonight is Christmas Eve. The most magical night of the year, they say. I sit in the common room while the others get visits. Children run around with new toys, old friends hug and cry, families gather close. I sit alone, my hands folded tight in my lap, staring at the clock. Every tick feels like a hammer striking my heart. I whisper to myself, maybe this is it. Maybe this is how my story ends. Forgotten. Alone. But then I hear footsteps in the hallway. Heavy, steady, getting closer. My heart jumps. Could it be her? Did she finally remember me? I hold my breath as the door creaks open. Before I tell you who walked through that door, let me ask you something, my dear listener. If your mother or grandmother sat waiting for you on Christmas Eve, would you leave her alone? Or would you walk through that door with love in your heart? Think carefully, because your answer might reveal more about you than you realize. The door opened wider, and when I saw the figure step into the room, my entire world shifted. When that door opened, my breath caught in my chest. I thought I was dreaming. For a moment, I even thought maybe it was an angel coming to take me home. But then I blinked and I saw him. It wasn't my daughter. No, it was someone I hadn't seen in years. Someone I thought had forgotten me too. It was Daniel, my grandson. My sweet boy. My daughter's only son. He stood there in his long coat, snow melting off his boots, his eyes wide and glistening like he was about to cry. For a second I couldn't move. My legs were stiff, my hands trembling. I whispered his name. Daniel. And oh, the way his face lit up when he heard me. "Grandma!" he shouted, and before I knew it, he was running across the room. He dropped to his knees beside my chair and wrapped his arms around me so tight I could barely breathe. And I didn't care. I held him with every bit of strength I had left. "Grandma, I'm so sorry," he kept saying. "I'm so sorry." His voice cracked, and I could feel his tears soaking into my shoulder. I pulled back just enough to look at him. He wasn't the little boy who used to run through my garden with toy airplanes. He was grown now, taller than his father had ever been, with strong shoulders and tired eyes. But when I looked into those eyes, I saw the same little boy who once begged me for one more bedtime story. "Oh, my darling," I whispered, brushing his cheek with my trembling hand. "You came." He nodded, still crying. I couldn't stay away anymore. "I don't care what Mom says. I don't care what anyone says. You don't deserve this, Grandma. You don't deserve to be alone." And right there my heart broke and healed all at once. Because for the first time in so long, someone remembered me. Someone cared. He pulled out a small box from his pocket, shaking his head as if he couldn't believe what he was about to do. "I brought you something," he said, opening it. Inside was a tiny silver bell on a chain. "Do you remember this?" Oh, how could I forget? That bell had once hung on our Christmas tree every year. His grandfather bought it for me on our very first Christmas together. When Daniel was little, he used to play with it pretending it was magic. And now here it was in his hands shining like hope. "I found it in Mom's attic," he said softly. "I thought maybe you'd want it back." I took it in my hands and I swear to you my whole life flashed before me in that moment. The laughter, the singing, the love that once filled my home. I closed my eyes and held it tight. "Thank you, my boy," I whispered. This is the best gift I could ever receive." We sat together for hours that night. He told me about college, about the struggles he'd faced, about how he'd been too afraid to stand up to his mother. He told me how he hated the way she treated me, how it haunted him every Christmas that I was left here alone. And as he spoke, I realized something. He was carrying the same pain I was. He hadn't forgotten me. He was hurting too. At one point, he looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Grandma, I promise you, this will be the last Christmas you ever spend here." I wanted to believe him. I wanted to hold on to that promise like a lifeline. But I had lived long enough to know how fragile promises can be. So I asked him, "Are you sure, Daniel? Because words are easy, but love is not." He squeezed my hand. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. For the first time in years I smiled. A real smile. Not the kind you force to hide your sorrow, but one that rises from deep inside your soul. 'Cause maybe, just maybe, I wasn't forgotten after all. But as much as joy filled my heart, a shadow still lingered. 'Cause my daughter. Oh, my daughter. She was still out there living her life, pretending I didn't exist. And the thought of her, my little girl who once clung to my skirts and begged me never to leave her side, choosing to abandon me, that pain never left. So I turned to Daniel and asked him the question that had been burning inside me for so long. "Why, my boy? Why does your mother hate me so much? What did I do to deserve this?" His eyes dropped to the floor. His voice was low when he answered, almost ashamed. "It's not hate, Grandma. It's guilt. She thinks you remind her of everything she's afraid of. She doesn't want to see you growing old. She doesn't want to face what that means for her. She thinks pushing you away will keep her safe from those feelings. Guilt. Fear. Not hate." My chest tightened. Maybe I had been wrong. Maybe she hadn't abandoned me because she didn't love me. Maybe she abandoned me because she didn't know how to face love. And so I sat there holding my grandson's hand, a storm of emotions tearing through me. Love, sorrow, anger, forgiveness, they all collided inside me like waves on the shore. Christmas Eve was not over yet. And deep in my heart, I had a feeling. Something even bigger was still to come. That night, after Daniel left to fetch something from his car, I sat alone in my chair, clutching the little silver bell so tightly my hands ached. My heart was full, but it was trembling too, like a fragile glass that might shatter at any moment. You see, happiness after so much pain feels strange. It doesn't come easy. Feels almost dangerous, like if you breathe too deeply it might disappear. As I sat there, the clock on the wall ticked past midnight. Christmas Day had officially arrived. The nursing home was quiet now, most of the visitors gone, only a few murmurs echoing down the halls. The glow of the Christmas tree in the corner bathed the room in soft light, and I whispered to myself, maybe I am not as forgotten as I thought. But just as I was letting that thought settle in my heart, the door creaked open again. This time it wasn't Daniel. It was her. My daughter. My little girl. For a moment, I thought I was imagining it. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, even held my breath, afraid if I moved she'd vanish. But no, there she was. Standing in the doorway, her hair tucked neatly back, her coat buttoned tight, her eyes red as if she'd been crying for hours. I froze. My body wanted to run to her, to hold her, to forgive her right there on the spot. But my heart, oh, my heart was torn. How do you welcome someone who broke you? How do you reach out when you've been left in the dark for so long? She stepped inside slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. Mom! The sound of it nearly undid me. It had been so long since I'd heard her call me that. I swallowed hard. Why are you here? My voice cracked like brittle wood. She took another step closer, her eyes glistening. Because I couldn't stay away anymore. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to open my arms and let every wound vanish. But pain doesn't leave so easily. I shook my head. You left me. You put me here and never looked back. Do you know what that did to me? Do you know how many nights I sat waiting for you, praying you'd walk through that door? Tears spilled down her cheeks. I know, Mom. I know. And I'm so sorry. Sorry. That word can heal or it can mean nothing at all. I stared at her, searching her face, looking for the truth. Why now? Why tonight? After all this time? She hesitated, then reached into her purse. She pulled out a folded piece of paper, hands trembling. Because I found this. She handed it to me. I opened it carefully, my fingers shaking. It was an old letter, one I had written years ago, tucked into a box for her to find after I was gone. A letter where I poured out every ounce of my love, where I told her I forgave her before she ever needed forgiveness. She sniffled, wiping her eyes. I found it last week while cleaning the attic. I read it over and over and I realized how blind I've been. I thought putting you here would protect me from watching you grow weaker, protect me from facing the fact that one day I'll lose you. But all it did was rob me of time I can never get back. Her voice broke, and she fell to her knees in front of me. Mom, please let me make this right. My body shook, and I clutched the arms of my chair to keep from collapsing into her. Oh, how badly I wanted to forgive. My heart screamed to pull her close, to erase the pain of every lonely night. But another part of me, the hurt part, hesitated. Do you know, I whispered, how it feels to be unwanted by the very child you raised? To feel like all those years of sacrifice meant nothing. She nodded, her face wet with tears. Yes, Mom, I do now. Because I see what I did. I see the hole I left in both our hearts. And I don't want to lose you before I've made it right. At that moment, the door opened again and Daniel walked in. He stopped dead when he saw his mother on the floor at my feet, crying. His face hardened. Mom, what are you doing here? She turned, her voice shaking. I'm trying to fix what I broke. Daniel clenched his fists, his jaw tight. It's too late for that. The room filled with silence so heavy it nearly crushed me. My daughter on her knees begging. My grandson standing tall, angry and protective. And me, torn between the two, holding the weight of generations in my fragile hands. I closed my eyes, whispering to myself, Lord, give me strength. Show me the way. Because I knew one thing. Christmas is a night of miracles. And maybe, just maybe, one was about to happen here. The room felt like it was holding its breath. My daughter kneeling on the floor, broken with guilt. My grandson standing tall, his anger burning like fire. And me, an old woman caught in the middle, clutching the silver bell in my hand as if it held the answer. Daniel's voice cut through the silence first. You don't get to just show up, cry a little and make it all better, Mom. You left her. You abandoned her when she needed you the most. His voice trembled, not with weakness but with fury he had carried for years. My daughter shook her head, tears streaming. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But please, Daniel, please don't take away my chance to try. She turned to me, her eyes searching mine. Mom, I don't want to lose you. Not like this. Not after everything you've given me. I felt their words like arrows piercing me from both sides. I looked at Daniel, his face so full of loyalty, his heart so protective of mine. And I looked at my daughter, my baby girl who once held my hand so tightly when crossing the street, who used to whisper, don't ever leave me, Mommy. And I realized this wasn't about choosing one over the other. It was about saving us all. I leaned forward, my voice soft but steady. Come here. Both of you. Daniel hesitated, his jaw tight, but I gave him a look only a grandmother can give. The look that says, don't argue with me, child. Slowly he walked closer. My daughter crawled the rest of the way until she was beside him. I took both their hands, one in each of mine. My skin was wrinkled thin, but in that moment I felt stronger than I had in years. Listen to me, I whispered. I am not blind. I know the pain we've carried. I know the mistakes that were made. But I also know this family is worth fighting for. Love is worth forgiving for. If I hold on to my pain, it will bury me. And if you two keep holding on to your anger and guilt, it will bury you too. Daniel looked at me, his lips trembling. But Grandma, how can you forgive her? After everything. I squeezed his hand, because forgiveness isn't about what she deserves. It's about what I need. And I need peace, my boy. I need my family whole again. My daughter sobbed harder, covering her face with her hands. I don't deserve you, Mom. I cupped her cheek with my trembling fingers, gently pulling her gaze back to mine. Maybe not, but you have me anyway, because a mother's love doesn't end, even when her heart breaks. And then, for the first time in years, we embraced. My daughter buried her face in my shoulder, weeping like a child again. I held her, rocking her gently, as if she were 5 years old and had scraped her knee. Daniel leaned in too, his strong arms wrapping around us both. And there we were, 3 generations broken but together, holding on as if the world outside didn't exist. The Christmas tree lights blinked softly behind us, casting a glow like heaven's own blessing. I felt my husband's presence in that room, as if he were watching, smiling, whispering, "This is what Christmas is meant to be." After a long while, my daughter pulled back, her face red and wet but her eyes clearer than I'd seen in years. "Mom, will you come home with me? Tonight? Please. No more nursing home. No more lonely nights. I want you where you belong, by my side with your family." For a moment I couldn't speak. I just looked at her, then at Daniel, then back at her. My voice cracked as I whispered, "Are you sure? Because if I say yes, there's no turning back." She nodded firmly. "Yes, I'm sure. I need you, Mom. We both do." Daniel's eyes softened, and he finally nodded too. "She's right, Grandma. It's time you come home." And just like that, the chains around my heart shattered. The weight of years of sorrow lifted. I felt tears streaming down my face, but this time they weren't from pain. They were from hope. That night, they packed up my few belongings, the photographs, the books, the silver bell, and together, we left the nursing home. As I walked out the doors, I looked back one last time, whispering, "Thank you for sheltering me, but I won't be coming back." The cold Christmas air hit my face, fresh and sharp, and for the first time in years it felt good to breathe. My daughter held one arm, Daniel held the other, and together we stepped into the snowy night. When we reached the car, Daniel opened the door for me, just like his grandfather once used to do. I smiled through my tears and whispered, "Thank you, my boy." As we drove away, the city lights glowing, I thought to myself, Christmas really is a night of miracles. Because tonight, love found its way home. And now, my dear listener, let me ask you something. If someone you love has hurt you, would you hold on to the pain forever? Or would you forgive and let love in again? Think carefully, my dear. Because sometimes, forgiveness is the key that opens the door to miracles.